All right, it is July 2nd. It is 4th of July weekend. We're going to start off with a bang. Scream Stream is returning. My friend Robert, how are you doing?
I am doing well. It is great to be back in the scare. It really is.
Well, we got a lot to talk about. Definitely a lot to talk about. For those of you that are watching on the rewind, thank you so much. And for those that are going to be coming through the chat, we want to say thank you as well. Those that are already here, Lori from Nightshade, all the way from Canada. And Canada's got some good horror stuff up there as well. And then, of course, the lovely Christina Payne is here. So definitely Christina Payne. Appreciate you guys dropping in. Um, you know, when we talk horror, 4th of July, before, we kind of kick into the intros and stuff like that. When you look at 4th of July, you think of some of the 4th of July movies out there, uh, like Jaws, right?
Absolutely.
And so, I mean, you can't get wrong with a classic like Jaws. But there's also, I Know What You Did Last Summer. Had that kind of a 4th of July setting. And then there's a movie called You Are Not Alone. It was in 2014. And Return of the Living Dead. Movies that were kind of based around that, 4th of July scenario. So, but definitely, so Lori's been tired working. Yeah, it's tough. Sometimes it's like there's days you just want to come home and just you want to be dead tired and just relax, right? I mean, I even when I'm off in the summer, because I work at a school, I still get pretty tired. I mean, because sometimes I'll stay up later, and so but here it is. We hello, Mama J. How are you, the lovely Mama J? How you doing? We are about to kick off our intro, but we can't have a scream stream, without kicking it off properly. So we have to ask Mr. Ghostface. Okay, Mr. Ghostface is gonna have to bring us in, Robert. I mean, that's the way it works. So, Roger L. Jackson, take it away.
Hello. Do you like scary streams? Who's your favorite horror team? Now listen to me. Be sure to check out Scream Stream. And maybe for you there'll be a bonus round. But for poor Logan and Jacob, I'm afraid they won't make the team. They've been cut.
And absolutely, Logan and Jacob, they are not on the team tonight. It is a Scream stream, but definitely thanks so much to Roger L. Jackson from Scream, and Scream is one of the topics that we have as well tonight. But definitely, when you look at Scream stream, we want to come out with a bang and get into. We got a lot to talk about, definitely, but let's go ahead and kick this segment off right now. All right, so Friday nights, we're looking at 10:30. As a time slot. Appreciate everybody, whether you're watching on the rewind, stopping in, hanging out. Means a lot. Hope everybody is having a great start to 4th of July weekend. You want Scream Pop? Well, we have the ice cream pops. You can make the Scream ice cream pops. But when you look at horror and you look at 4th of July, we just there's a lot on the plate of what's going on. And not too long ago, they released the Halloween trailer, which, is exciting. I'd like to definitely talk about that. And how are you, Sassy Cajun? How you doing, my dear? So you have, a Halloween trailer. And that was just like, I could probably do a whole segment just on that guy right there. You know what I mean? But what we're doing here tonight is we're going to talk about a lot of different things that are coming up. That's getting the juices flowing for, the horror. When you look at some of the stuff now, we didn't get to do because of the pandemic. Go to places like Universal Horror in Orlando, and also in Hollywood. And this year, the return Halloween Horror Nights. This is going to be cool. So Jack Halloween Horror Nights in Universal Orlando. Still looking to see what they're going to do in the LA side of things. But you also have Pokemon is getting into the Halloween deal. Pokemon right there. So they're going to do their Happy Halloween 12, 13 days there. So that'll be kind of cool for those Pokemon fans. So we definitely have that going. But what do you think, Robert, with everything? Hey, Juliana, Nadia, how's it going? I appreciate everybody stopping in. We'd like to ask you guys, people that do come into the streams and stuff, what would you like to see from the Scream stream? Give us some ideas, whether, if you want to do it in the chat, that's fine. You can message us on Instagram. But some things over the course of the horror season, what would you like to see? What would you like to be able to do? So I know for a fact that we were just talking about Universal Horror Nights, and I want to show you this real quick. So one of the things that we're doing
this summer, so I'm hoping that I get to experience some of these places I haven't seen in a while. But I've been dying to do the Universal Horror Nights.
Well, yeah, it's absolutely. To go and do stuff like that, especially after last year, would be a lot of fun. So let's see here. All right, so let's see.
Let's get with the flow here.
Yeah, a little progressive. Everybody gets their insurance, right?
And you can now get your tickets for Halloween Horror Nights at Universal Studios. The event runs from Friday, September 3rd to October 31st. So far, 2 haunted houses have been announced for that event.
A consumer alert for you.
So they just...
Oh, it's just me now. He exited himself out. Where'd you go, Eric? Well, in the event of times like these, we just kind of wait till he gets back. But on the topic of, there you are, Universal Horror.
I hit the wrong
button. I was like, hit the wrong button. I was ready to jump in with, here he is. The infinite.
All right. And Pags.
Oh, it's been forever.
Did you knock the dust off there, clown? Are you excited? It's almost Halloween. It's creeping around.
Oh yes. I cannot wait. It's so good to see you. Absolutely so. Oh, and some familiar names here. Kano. Hey, Chris, how are you? Nick Dorks. Good to see you. And Christina Payne. Mama J. Nadia, hello. Hey, Nadia. See you in your dreams, Nadia. Who else is there? Is that Nightshade? And also Sassy Cajun. Hello.
Yeah. So,
wink, wink.
So, Pags, what are you excited about for Halloween? This is the time of the year now. When you start seeing some things in the store, on the shelves, and it just people getting ready to unveil the new Halloween items that are out there. Like I said, we have plenty of different stuff last year that we didn't get. So I'm sure some of it you're going to get this year. But what do you feel about, Halloween is getting closer and closer?
Well, they're going to decorate. We decided, we were talking. We had a long conversation. All right. I almost felt like I was talking to myself after a while. But we're going to be decorating, right? What theme did you want to go with? We're going to go with The Nightmare Before Christmas this year.
So, Nightmare Before Christmas. Okay.
You're going to decorate the house that way. That way it'll, go all out this year.
So you don't want to do the Pokemon theme, right? You don't want to do the Pokemon Halloween Uh, the 13 Days of Pokemon. um, but definitely. So one of the things that we wanted to kind of get into, guys, is we got a lot of horror on tap. I mean, that has been happening recently. You have, like I said, you have some updates, for Scream, coming in next year, 2022. You have Chucky on the Sci-Fi Channel. You have the Conjuring movie that just came out. You have the Halloween trailer that just dropped. Not only that, one of the other things, the guys that did the Halloween trailer from Blumhouse, they are actually going to be taking on The Exorcist, and and so they are going to like kind of attack The Exorcist like they did Halloween. So they're going to use the first film from The Exorcist and kind of go off of there, and so we shall see. Slushland, how are you? He said, "I'm naked. That's scary." Um, but we appreciate you guys stopping in, and one of the things that we wanted to put out there is for the Scream stream, coming into this year. What would you guys like to see in the Scream stream? What type of streams would you like to have? Would you like to be a part of? And take place. We are going to try to do um, Dream Calumet, new here and welcome. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Tats, how's it going? How are you guys? We got to give you guys a little hello here. Let's, Pagliacci, can you give him a little hello?
Hello.
And then let's give him another hello here. Yeah, get a little Scream hello. So what would you like to, Pagliacci, what would you like to dive into, with all those topics? What would you like to dive into first?
Let's start with everybody's favorite Halloween trailer, Halloween Kills. Now
So the Halloween Kills, okay. So when you look at that trailer, now one of the things that I'd like to do is what are your thoughts about that? Like, there was a lot that was out there.
If people thought that there wasn't enough kills or gore, the title and the trailer say enough. This is gonna be violent.
Well, I mean, it definitely. I mean, and that's what I think. Halloween Kills. So it's all the kills on Halloween. It's like it's definitely like if you look at the old Fangoria magazines, they used to show movies and they used to show scenes from the movies. So you could flip through the magazine and kind of have an idea of a scene that would be in a movie, or they'd show you a behind the scenes. So you would have an idea of what was going to happen. So with the trailers, I know a lot of times people will say, well, I would rather have seen this in the actual movie theaters as a surprise and not knowing now. But I think that in a movie that's like almost 2 hours, there's a lot that's going to be going on. And when you only show a small portion, so that's not everything in the movie. But let me go ahead and let's take a look here.
I think they did something to kind of fake us out. A lot of that footage might be just for the trailer. At least that's what I think.
All right. So we got Halloween Kills. Okay. And so obviously, like the anticipation of this is exciting. So let's, right off the bat, we leave that movie. The fire's going on. They're leaving. They're hoping that, Michael burns with it. So here we go. Now let's kind of break this down a little bit. Now, seeing that scene right there, him coming out with the fireman tool, and I mean the blaze is going. Michael is like, okay, I'm out. So the anticipation of knowing how he gets out is there. So like a lot of us were thinking like, how is he going to get out of there? How, what did he find in like a little basement trap, or is there a little hidden tunnel? Like what's going to happen? Like, I mean, you kind of had an idea when she's saying let it burn, that the firemen would get to that area. But the way that he's coming out and just having a like a buffet with these firemen is like amazing. Just to see this, I mean, once again, it's something that I obviously would have loved to see in the movie. I mean, if they had left us out in the trailer, or just showed a little bits and pieces, but this is what we got. Now here, being able to take on, the guy with the saw and turning it around, like I said, you got the firemen. I mean, these guys are trained, professionals, and he's just going after them left and right. And I mean, they didn't expect to have to save the demon, the Michael Myers.
Also, what's symbolic here? If you pause it right there, real quick, go back a little bit. With the
Let me go ahead and
him with the house in the back. Now, initially, if I'm not mistaken,
I'm gonna pause it. Okay.
Yeah, perfect. If I'm not mistaken, initially the beginning of the 2018 film was supposed to open with a flashback. And they built the interior of that house, when she's like the mannequins and all, and they have that fight scene. That actually is a recreation of the original house from the original film. It was supposed to be used for a flashback that ended up not being done. So just the thought of that, and then if you saw the ending of the movie, there was like a little dollhouse that was a recreation of the original Myers house that was burning. I think there's symbolism here in that we had a certain Michael Myers, yes, that was terrorizing, and that was like we were fearful of him. But when you think about it, in the original film, really only 5 people died, right? Yeah, the three that were Laurie's friends, was it 3 Laurie's friends, the mechanic, and then someone else. It's escaping me right now, unless it was the 4. But anyway,
well, I'm sure we had a couple, because it wasn't until the second one when it started ramping up a little bit more.
Yeah, so I think this is kind of symbolic in that it's not that Michael anymore. I think it's like there's another like level of Michael we're gonna see, even worse than before. And it's like, how they say let the past burn and just let it run. Like this is not a Michael that we're used to. We're gonna see a whole new level. Yes, I think the trailer showed a little bit much, but I think it's also done on purpose. I think some of the footage is there mostly to kind of get people to understand, like, hey, this is different.
Well, and I think in a way too is because we didn't get this movie last year, and so it's kind of like a treat to the fans in the sense of like, hey, we want to get you pumped and excited for this movie, and we want to do it the best way we can. And so this is like little snippets. But I do want to say thank you, Richard, the owner of Zoe and Noodles. I appreciate the super chat. Welcome, my friend. Definitely welcome. I appreciate it. Mom, a geeky mom bear. I love this, but I hate it at the same time. So yeah, that's what, Halloween, like all these, everything that's going on, it's just like a barrage of stuff to definitely talk about. So as we get into this,
my grandmother was right. The boogeyman was real.
It's over.
We can't hurt anyone ever again.
No one told you.
Told me what?
Somebody in there?
okay, I'm gonna go back. I'm trying to go back to that one scene right there. Okay, now, any idea who these? Now I know there was the little black boy. I don't know if this is grandparents. I don't know if this is a correlation close to Michael Myers' house, but you're seeing a different Michael Myers here in a sense, where it's creative kills. You know what I'm saying? So I think that this movie here is taking that turn on the creative side of the kills. One of the things that I wanted to touch on for that was, it's given away the reveals, but I definitely think that it's going to be a great movie regardless. So,
There's a lot of people coming back too from the original film or characters themselves. Some actors that have taken on the role, like taking it over from one of the original actors, and then some of the original actors themselves reprising their roles, whether it be a cameo or a scene. I have to believe that whoever right now that is in the screen, that's got to be somebody significant. What I do know is that is the Myers house, so he's returning home in this scene. So these are
okay,
the
so you're saying this is the Myers house, okay?
this is
So real quick, let's say hi to some people too. Like I said, McDorks, Michael, Christian, the lovable McDorks are in the house. We got Christina McIntosh. How are you? Of course, Tats and Ness, and we know Ness is big on horror, so we appreciate Ness being here. But so, like I said, just we're gonna take this through, and we're kind of breaking down the trailer a little bit. Getting excited for Halloween Kills because it is an anticipated movie that should have been there last year. But here we go, a little bit more.
Michael Myers is alive.
Now, when he's in the scene here, now see, this is once again, in the trailer, we're getting this reveal of this scene, this kill. Now, this is something obviously in the movie theaters that you're like, oh damn, like he's going to town, but you're already seeing this. Now, keep in mind, I'm not saying this won't be in the movie, but if you look at the Avengers, you had Hulk running in Wakanda, and that scene wasn't in it,
yeah.
but it was there for the trailer.
I truthfully think that they did. Well, who knows? Maybe some of this, like, there's elements of it in it, but keep in mind a lot of stuff ends up on a cutting room floor. So I also think a lot of this is just for the trailer to hook you in, because it is surprising to see like this much revealed in it. I'd be surprised, we could be wrong, and all of a sudden this is, scene shot for shot what's going to be in the movie, but.
Well, and the other side is there could be so much this leads into. This could be the significance of this is the beginning of his barrage through the night. It's like it really sets him on the rampage and getting going, because he is going to go on a killing spree. That's Halloween Kills, and I think that's basically what it's going to portray a little bit.
This couple is like a modern day version of the older couple from the second Halloween 2. The original.
Yeah.
I noticed.
Okay, so here we go.
Stop! You had a knife in your stomach.
You and Allison should not have to keep running. Evil dies tonight.
I'm not just going to sit and watch another innocent person die.
Okay, now, so right there, one of the things, just to kind of go, that's actually something I didn't see last time. So here you have.
I'm not just going to sit and watch.
Now he's getting out of the car. Now we know in the past, Michael Myers drives, which is still surprising, but he's one of those characters.
They never mentioned this part, but if you go back to, well, they mentioned it once, but like they never really elaborate on it. It's like a plot hole in a way, but I guess fill in your blanks or maybe the answer to this movie.
Hey, Flip Cake, how are you? Yeah, I mean,
the original film, they say, how did he learn? Like, well, someone clearly was given. Dr. Loomis says, well, somebody must have been lessons because he had no problem driving last night. When they're like, how does he know how to drive? He's been in this institution since he was 6 years old. So
I mean, he must have go on YouTube and learn how to tie your shoe. You learn how to drive. I mean,
how to do a bow tie was on YouTube. So,
but I mean, when you look at Jason Voorhees and you look at but Chucky, Chucky's driven, so it's one of those things. It's interesting, but maybe it's just something he's a fast learner, right?
Another innocent person died.
If you track Michael's victim.
So now, one of the importance with this, and some of you guys may know, may not know, but Halloween season 3 of The Witch, these are the masks that were in that actual movie, and in the back of the mask, there's one of the logos from that movie as well. So the characters that are in here now, one of the things that you kind of look at is when you break it down, is you try to figure out who it might be. You can look at the coloring of the shirt. You can, kind of have an idea from there, because there's going to be some original characters in this movie that are going to play the role of dying.
We've seen these two characters. Go back a little bit.
Okay.
So I don't know if you paid attention to the first film, the little kid's name is Julian, they were babysitting him. I think these are his parents. And if you look closely, we've seen these two characters before. If you remember when Michael goes and he just starts killing people, the woman in the garage, then he stares at the baby, then he kills that one woman by going around into her backyard and comes up from behind her. She's looking out the window.
Yeah.
Then he comes out, and then he stares at a woman getting into a car dressed as a nurse, who I guess her boyfriend is dressed as a. Remember, he's like, I gotta go get my stethoscope.
Right.
In his pocket. These are those characters.
Okay, so it's well. Here's the other thing. Now, this guy here, he was the original guy. He was in.
No, not Tommy Doyle.
No, it's not Tommy Doyle. It was
the bully. The one that Dr. Loomis like. Hey, Lonnie.
Lonnie. Yeah, it was Lonnie Ellman. Mm-hmm. And remember when Dr. Loomis is like, "Hey, Lonnie, get away from there," like when he was whispering it. So there is interactions with Lonnie and Michael Myers. Now here, if you look to one of the things, just to give you an idea, if you notice this purple sweater, jacket or whatever, you may pick in on who it could be in the movie as well.
What do? We fight.
Now, obviously, she says, we fight. She's in a hospital. Now, I'm thinking in this movie that a lot of it's going to be her daughter and granddaughter. And even though she did do the shot, to get up, I don't know how much she's going to be able to come in. Maybe she comes in at the end, but I don't know if this movie is going to center between, those two characters. I think they're
kind of take a back seat in this one.
Yeah. That's what I kind of think.
Just hunt him down.
Michael Myers is flesh and blood, but a man couldn't have survived that.
Okay, so he just does a lot of hiding. Looks like there's some kind of crossbow back in here. Some guns. You see the guns. So who knows where he might be? It could be somebody's house. Obviously, I don't know if it would actually be a police department, but especially with the guns and the crossbow.
Fire.
Oh, unless that was part of the house that he came out of.
Where the weapons were. He was.
Okay.
Remember, he disappears, and we're like, at one point when they're doing cuts to the burning house, and he's just missing.
Yeah.
He step back into, and that looks like maybe. There we go. Yep.
So once again, so you're getting these kills, like how things are going to play out a little bit, and so you have an idea. But this is 2 minutes of footage, and you got a 2-hour movie. So I mean, I know there's so much more that you're going to be like, whoa.
The more he kills.
Now this one here
transcends.
Okay, so as you see here with the purple, she's got the purple. I think that's possibly one that did die in the mask as a possibility. But let's talk about right now, guys. In the chat.
Spoiler. That definitely is her. But we've seen this character before too.
She's the nurse.
She's the nurse. That's with Loomis in the original, and it's literally exactly like this is the same actress and character.
Yes.
The more he transcends.
In the same manner. What was her name? Dr. Marion Chambers, I think.
It was, I think, Marion Chambers.
The characters.
And I know they're looking at some of the old originals. What's good about this is they're tying in that movie some of the loopholes. You know what I mean? Because it's kind of like an Avengers timeline. You're going back in and saying, okay, there was this person here, this person that was in the movie, the original, and now we're showing you in this series of events how these people come into play years later. But But let's talk about how she's talking about transcending. Okay, here's the line, because I think it's really important.
The more he kills, the more he transcends.
So this is Halloween Kills, and the more he kills, the more he transcends. So what are we looking at here? Like what is she talking about?
I think as he goes deep, I mean, the more kills he gets, he's getting more violent as it goes. It's just like like a train that can't stop. I mean, let's go back to the first kill. Oh, that's who the fifth kill was, his sister. You know, the curiosity of when we follow that POV shot of him reaching for that knife and then stabbing his sister. You know, a lot of that was it. You know, we've seen the movies that say that it was supposedly like the embodiment of evil itself has gone into him, telling him to do that. But we went from this curious boy, watching his sister after having sex, pick up this knife and stab her as this kind of symbolic penetration of losing his own virginity in a way, right? But through killing. And then the more he does it, and the more he does it, the more he craves it, the more he does it, and it almost becomes like it drives him, but it also, like, the lives that he's taken are meaningless to him. Like, it doesn't matter. Whoever's in the way, you're gonna die. If you're in Michael's way, it's an unstoppable force. And I think that's what she's talking about in terms of this transcending.
Okay. All right, so let's see here.
No, no. He's the essence.
Okay, now this is the girl.
That's the same actress too, if I'm not mistaken.
No, this one here. This girl's different. If you look at the jacket. So the girl that says "run," I think there's a Lindsay. Lindsay was
the actress that played Lindsay in the original film, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, and because she was Tommy and was being babysat.
Oh no! He's the essence of evil.
Now here's another thing that I kind of was a little upset with it from a giveaway standpoint. Now this is the son for the gentleman Lonnie, but it seems like they're in Michael Myers' house, the old house, as a possibility. And if you look at here, now you got the blood drip, so we're obviously giving away more, killing in the movie of where things are going to play out, instead of us being able to see this in the theater. Now here's the one thing that I kind of touch on a little bit. She's got the knife, with him. Like, this is obviously maybe towards later on in the movie. But this is a character, Michael Myers, who took on a whole firefighting squad, guys, like maybe 10, 11 guys, maybe more. And I mean, and he was going through them like crazy.
Hundreds of pounds on them, a lot of pounds on them.
And this is a teenage girl in that neighborhood. And, she's holding off, Michael pretty good in this sense. And I don't know if he's just because it's, through the night, he's been, a little wounded, a little tired, who knows, but it's kind of interesting. But definitely from this standpoint, I'm just interested to see how these characters are going to be more central. And I don't know if it's like they're giving them their main storyline to lose them, because sometimes they'll give them their big story to finish them off, to go out with a bang. But then the other thing that I want to see is this, okay? And I don't know where this all plays out together in the scenes, but
Do it. Do it. You want your mask?
So here, there's a mask. Okay, so apparently his mask this is one of the biggest things, and the guys in the chat, his mask is off. Now, is it off? Does she have a different mask? Like what, is he sitting there? Are they going to show his face from that view? And is it going to be burned and scarred, from the fire? What are we looking at possibly here? What would you say from this shot here?
I think again, that mask is that connection with him. In the 40 years later, in the 2018 version, in the beginning when the reporter pulls the mask out for the first time,
Uh-huh.
suddenly it's like it kind of wants to turn. We have that, like, are we going to see his face? But there's a reaction to it. I go back to that scene, even though John Carpenter said it didn't mean anything. I think after years, it means something. That scene in the original, when the teacher's talking in the background and talking about fate, and Laurie's just kind of just doodling in her book or whatever she's doing, and she looks up.
Yeah.
I think those lines come back here, and that we're seeing a lot of the characters' fates here. We're tying up loose ends with characters that go back to the original, that go back to the 2018 film, and we're kind of putting it all together. And I think, like Danny McBride and the other.
Well, I mean, and that's the thing, is that they're taking this on. Now we have the mob, like, so obviously the angry mob, and it kind of reminds me of the old Universal. Let's go hunt Frankenstein. Let's go get the Wolfman, Dracula, or whatever. You got that village mob that's just grabbing everything. Now he obviously took out, the firemen. I don't know where the police are in all this, because like, obviously it seems there should be something about that as well. But it kind of plays back to
I think Halloween 5 they did this, right? I think
well,
remember they were like just like the hunters or something like that. The town just started getting together. I think it was Halloween 4.
hey Tuber Chat, how are you? How you doing, my friend? How you been? Um, welcome. I mean, but they did show, like I said, it's the mob getting together, getting the guns or whatever, and going to round up. Now, obviously, if you look at something like this to happen, you can bring in the National Guard, call in the Army, whatever the case. But I mean, it is the movie sense. I appreciate it, Tuber Chat. Thank you so much. Yeah, we are kicking off Scream Stream. We do this every year. So we're kicking off our first show. There's a lot of horror to talk about. Hey, Mr. Christopher's, how are you? No, you're definitely not too late. You're always, when you arrive, things happen. But when you look at this here with the mob, okay, it's like you get the sense, like, is this going to be towards the end of the movie, or are they going to, with the police, are they going to capture him, put him in the car, and then lead into the next movie? Is he going to elude the mob? Is he going to take out as many as he can and then maybe get knocked out from behind? Like, like, these are things, like, you start thinking, okay, what will happen? Because, even Michael Myers, taking on a lot of people, eventually the numbers are going to overwhelm. So, it's kind of interesting how they're portraying this and seeing how it's going to fit in that puzzle piece of this movie.
I think this scene is definitely towards, maybe every movie's broken down into 3 acts, essentially. I think this is somewhere in between in 1 and 2, because you got to think of think for a second, the people of Haddonfield, Illinois. Their town is on the map over something negative, over Michael Myers. Michael Myers is part of their history that most of them probably talked about as, like, again, he's the boogeyman of that town. He's known for the murders, and now he's back and he's on the run. So you got to think that there's probably this negative connotation that everyone has about, like, oh my God, like, we're residents of this town and there's more to it. We're tired of Michael Myers. Let's get together. He's out there. He's back. Let's get rid of him once and for all. Like, I think that's what's happening here. Not to mention, he's going on this killing spree, and everyone's in. And I think it's going with the times, in that, like, if this were to happen in real life today, people are going to band together. People are going to go
right,
and go after.
Well, especially a small town.
Yeah,
especially a small town. And Nessa, brings up the point. Can he actually be killed? I know in some of the past movies, you've seen some of that supernaturalness, and I mean, and that's where, do they explore that? Because he is something different. And she says, as he kills more, he becomes something different. So, I mean, that's kind of what we're looking for this to kind of take on. But as you get into,
I'm coming for you, Michael.
So now she obviously, says, "I'm coming for you, Michael." It's setting it up where she's now ready to come out of the hospital. I think it plays towards the end.
I think
That
the last scene.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That she could be minute in this movie, other than a few of those roles, and then at the end sets up the next, movie. Like, I'm coming for you to finish this.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you think, Charlie?
Let's get Charlie out. It's not a stream without our little buddy over here. Hello, everyone. It is so good to see everyone here. Hello, Eric. How are you?
Charlie, how's it going? So Charlie, I hate to put you on the spot, but we got a question here from Kane PPA TV. For some reason, I think they'll do the brother sister scenario with Michael and Lori again in this upcoming movie.
Oh, this is Canepa TV. He's a big fan of them as well. So, Charlie, what do you think of that? You think they'll bring that scenario back again? Oh, that kind of be a little interesting there. Although a little cliche, but it would be nice if they did it with a twist. Like there has to be some sort of twist if you're gonna go that route, because they kind of dismissed it in the last movie. So kind of weird if they kind of bring it back. I can imagine some sort of weird like other connection with them, because what is it? I thought they were going somewhere with the girlfriend what's her name? Hate when I forget names. When Laurie Strode's granddaughter, such was the name, I think, when she is being hit on by the friend before he's killed in the backyard, and then he sees Michael and he's like, "Hey, you ever found the girl that there's nothing you could do about? Like you just want to have her and you can't." Like I thought there'd be some weird twist, like why is Michael so like fixed on Laurie? Yes, obviously now, yes, we can say that because he was locked up, but what initially brought him to finding her? First interaction they ever have is really when her father tells her to drop off whatever it was at the Myers house, and she does, and he's on the other side of that door in the original film, and from that moment on he follows her. So could there be some connection there? Could they do some twist there? I can see them doing something. I think they have to really like, in order, if they go the brother sister route again, I can see people being like, "Oh, big surprise!" But do something different. I don't know what that different is, but you're gonna have to change up some weird thing. What I can tell you though is just look at the reverse, how crazy the reversals are. Like, who's hunting who now? Like we spoke about this, I remember once when we covered the last film. But it's interesting to see how Laurie has become essentially the very person that she's hunting. Like so like the very person that haunted her, she's now hunting. Like she's becoming Michael Myers in a way. Just look at that shot that you see of her walking with the knife. How like she's become him.
Yeah.
Like she's now, it's the reversal of the roles.
Well, but the thing is you have to become that to be like, in order for me to beat this guy, I got to become him. Like, I got to know like what he does. I got to like anticipate, and she's had to that point where she's had enough, and it's like either I face my demons, my fears, or they're gonna haunt me forever.
That Nest brings up an interesting point. Now that I could see them doing that. Now, if you went the brother sister route, you could pull off that they're fraternal twins. Now that would be a twist.
Yeah,
that would be a twist because they're about the same age. That would be a twist in that it's not just that they're brother and sister, like because the lore was that he was the older brother, but for them to be fraternal twins, and that's why they have this connection, and maybe it runs in a family. Because look at how the ending of the last movie had that focus on how the granddaughter Alice, right? Is it Alice? It just came.
So it's Allison and Karen.
And Karen, I know that Karen was the daughter, but I couldn't remember the Alice. It just came back to me. The way that they focused on Alice holding that knife at the end of the film, that ended the 2018 film, I believe that there has to be some sort of like, there is that symbol, there's that connection, that butcher knife. That's like, it is the loss of innocence with that. Like, it is the loss of innocence when it comes to holding that knife. It is like you are no longer the person. Before holding that knife, you're no longer that person anymore. And that's what happened to Allison. That's what happened to Lori. Karen, it was she grew up that way. She didn't want part of that life until she finally gave in when she realized all of it was happening. So it's going to be an interesting to see what direction they go. And there's a lot of like, if you just look at the trailer, there's a lot of like callbacks to all the other movies, like the if
like
you remember,
season 3, definitely.
even Jamie Lee, was it Jamie Lloyd, the daughter
Yeah,
of in the other continuity of it,
and
how
number
she,
5.
when she gets possessed and like Loomis goes crazy, that like it passed on.
Yeah.
Could we be going that route? Because there's a lot of hints towards that when you look at it. So it's going to be interesting to see. It's like they really. What I like is that at first I was like, damn, they showed a little too much. But could this be kind of a fake out? Are these like now they're doing trailers where they make scenes just for the trailer?
I think there's. I mean, I think there could be some scenes that are just for the trailer, but at the same, like I said, Hulk and Wakanda. But I also think that this is the real deal, that they want to get you pumped for this movie, and because you waited for it, and they want people. They did extremely well. It was over 250, in regards for this movie, and so they want to obviously continue the hype, and especially with Blumhouse taking on other projects like The Exorcist and doing it in the same fashion. And who knows, maybe somewhere down the road, Friday the 13th, once they get done with their legal battles, whatever happens in that regards. But they've also talked about, Nightmare on Elm Street, Robert England possibly doing another movie. But I want to say, Charlie, welcome, and let's give you a ghost face. A ghost face. Charlie, can we get a what's up from you?
What's up? What's
Uh,
up?
so definitely, Charlie. We're back again, and it's good to see you, Charlie. How have you been? How's your summer?
Doing all, doing all. Finally get to dust myself off too. I'm sitting there watching you guys, and I'm like, hey, when are we gonna jump on? Nobody wants to listen to this dummy. I'm not a dummy. You're a dummy. No, don't call me.
Well, so we're talking horror, Charlie, and obviously, horror very well, and so we've touched a little bit on, with Halloween, and we're definitely looking forward to that, and some of the other movies that are coming out. Once again, just to let you guys know, you got Don't Breathe 2, which is an interesting movie a little bit this time around. And then you have the Forever Purge. And then, of course, Candyman, is also another one to be coming out. But, with Michael Myers, it is his time to shine on Halloween. He is not just hunting Strode down. He's just on a killing spree. And so it's going to be interesting to see how this movie plays out. I'm excited for it. But what I'm also excited for is something that's coming out, Charlie, and it's kind of around your size. I know size matters. Sometimes they say, Charlie, but when you talk about this guy, he's an interesting character.
My uncle.
But we got Chucky now. Sci-Fi, the Sci-Fi Channel is doing Chucky a series. Okay, and they've mentioned, they're going with, Brad Dourif for his original voice, Jennifer Tilly. They are also bringing the Elise, the girl from the second one. You also have Andy Barclay is going to be in there for like 4 of the series. It's a different take, on this, where this gentleman is creating like a project, and it's based out of dolls, and goes to a yard sale, ends up finding, Mr. Chucky, and Chucky continues, bringing himself back in the form of attacking like high school or middle school kids, and terrorizing them. So you have obviously, Chucky. The series is going to be coming on Sci-Fi. So we're definitely excited for that, 100%, because it's the original Brad Dorff, and anytime you get to hear that, I think that's amazing right there. Um, so, hey Clarissa, how are you? Hope you're doing well. Um, it says the sci-fi series better bring Black Glenn. Well, and the thing is too, Mr. Christopher. So I know that Chucky was actually a character that was created by with the genre that came through. A lot of people at first, like when they had Glenn, like they didn't know how to take it, but then it became kind of like a little following, and a lot of people really do like Glenn, and so yeah, I mean, I don't know if they're going to focus on Chucky and bring in everybody else or not, but it'll be interesting to see how this series plays out. Um, Okay, thank you, Richard. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Thanks again for the super chat. Thank you. Good to see you. Hope Zoe's doing well. Have a great 4th of July, bud. Appreciate it. But your thoughts? I mean, it's Chucky, and once again, Chucky's got so many different outfits. It'd be interesting to see the design. But what are your thoughts, Charlie? Being in this line of Chucky, what do you think is going to happen here?
Here's your close up for you, King. Well, first of all, let me say how good it is to see you again. Like, I really, really miss doing this. But I'm excited. I really am excited. I mean, Chucky, that's, it's the reason why I exist. I exist because of Chucky. So I'm really looking forward to it. I mean, I hope sci-fi really doesn't hold back and shows us everything. I want to see elements of. I like the concept of like these new remakes or these movies coming out like years later after the original and making connections, references to the other movies. I don't know if this is going to be any sort of connection directly as a sequel to all the other films, but what I can say is I know for a fact that they're going to honor, these characters. So,
well, they are going to be in his hometown, with the serial killer. So they are going to be in his hometown. So I think it is going to try to tie in a little bit. But Charlie, let me give this to you. Let me see what you think. Here we go, real quick. I'm going to play this for you, Charlie, and you tell me what you think here, bud. All right.
that music. The laugh. Oh, I love
Yeah.
it.
So I mean, definitely, you have that. So what do you think about that, Charlie?
Ah, again, less is more, and they just nailed it there. It's just obviously a little callback there. Let's hope that they go in the direction of honoring, the original while, you know, going in a new direction that's going to get us all hooked. Let the kill counts be high. Let them be creative. Let it be scary again.
Well, and that's the thing. When you look at Chucky, I mean, like I said, you want to see this. You want to see that type of Chucky where he's coming in, and he's totally like. I mean, you love the Chuck, but the sci-fi series is something I'm looking forward to, 100%. So we have that coming up, so that's going to be awesome. So Charlie, another thing that we've already talked Michael Myers and we're talking Chucky, and another thing to get excited about, 100%, is this guy right here. So Mr. Ghostface, we have a new vision coming through with Ghostface, and so Scream. This is the way they're calling it, Scream. Obviously, it's not. It's still Scream 5. It's still a continuation. It's not a reboot. It is bringing in some of the older characters, but they're looking to really refresh the page of this franchise. And so it comes out in January 2022. So definitely, like I said, getting very excited for Mr. Ghostface here. So what's your thoughts, Charlie?
I am super excited. You know, uh, I always wondered, like, with the whole change of the slasher genre in the '90s and Scream, just a new, fresh take on it.
Well,
Scream.
they're saying, like I said, they're what they've done is they've stopped filming. They've already started work on the post production, the music, and everything like that. But one of the things that they've done is they've hidden the scripts from the actors to know the identity of the killer. So
Oh,
not so they have different scripts, different shots and scenes filmed. So you're not going to necessarily know. Like you could say, think that you're going in and saying, "Okay, Charlie, we're going to film you today as the killer," and but you're not. So I mean, that's kind of what we're doing right now. I think it's awesome. You have some of the original cast coming back, but I wonder if they're coming back to hand off the torch to some of the new younger version. I know Jenna Ortega is Dylan Minnette. Melissa Barrera. These are ones that are up and coming to be able to take on a franchise and hopefully get a trilogy out of it.
sounds exciting. You know,
So,
uh, they,
what's your thoughts on the Scream franchise?
well, first of all, I absolutely love it. You can't be talking about the slasher genre. We're not talking about Scream again. But I kind of want to see, like, again, where are these characters going to go now? Like, how does Courtney Cox, the actress's what's his character's name? I can't think. Well, how does Sidney Prescott and all them? Where do they go now in this new generation? If it's going to take off like Laurie Strode did 40 years later, how about over 20 years later? Where are they going to go? I mean, I know Scream, what was it? Ford did it somewhat, but I think it kind of missed the mark a little bit.
Well,
Uh,
I think there's a lot that can be done. But Charlie, let's say hi to some of the people that come in the chat, like Mr. Crispers. I'm lucky I got Jennifer Tilly autograph before she decided she's no longer going to do signings. Mailed it to me for free. There's nothing to dislike about Child's Play series at all. Nancy, Charlie, can we get a yeah boy, Charlie?
Yeah, boy.
And then of course Divine Pops. So Calvin, obviously a big fan of horror as well. Hope you are doing well, your family as well. Thank you, I appreciate it. And this is kind of what we're diving into. For those that are coming in, we touched on the Halloween series, and with Michael Myers, and obviously that's going to be a big movie coming in. You have the sci-fi Chucky series, and then you have starting off the new year next year with Scream. So there's a lot to look forward to leading through into Halloween in general, whether it's Universal Studios bringing their stuff back, haunted houses, things that are opening back up, being able to trick or treat. Maybe, this year for trick or treating, you get, a double dose of candy to make up from last year. But with Scream 5, like I said, it's definitely it's running on all cylinders. They're hoping to make this franchise, with new blood, really go in a great direction. I know that the TV series was not great at all, in my opinion. But I do enjoy the movies. I absolutely love the opening of Scream. I know that Drew Barrymore, they kind of were looking at her being one of the lead characters, but because of her scheduling, she was going to be the part that Nev Campbell did, but because of scheduling, she took on the smaller role. And so it's interesting how some people do that and how they look at movies, that opening scene. But I mean, just everything the way it plays out, for that is really exciting. Would you say?
oh, absolutely. Uh, you know what? I even remember seeing Scream 2, and being scared to go in the bathroom stall. Remember that scene?
Yes, and I mean, and that's the thing when you look at the bathroom stalls, and I mean, yeah, I mean that's like you're looking under there, you're like hoping you don't look under there when somebody walks in or something. But yeah, I mean, absolutely.
Gotta make
So
when you go into the urinal, you're just like, hey. Oh.
Hello?
Hello?
Yes?
Who is this?
Who are you trying to reach?
What number is this?
What number are you trying to reach?
I don't know.
Well, I think you have the wrong number.
Do I?
What happened? Take it easy.
now, what was one of the things I want to touch on as well from this movie?
Hello?
I'm sorry. I dialed the wrong number.
So why'd you dial it again?
To apologize.
You're forgiven. Bye now.
Wait, don't hang up.
What?
I want to talk to you for a second.
They've got 900 numbers for that. See ya.
See the foreshadowing right there, a little bit of foreshadowing with the tree.
I love how even the camera angles tilted
Mm-hmm.
to get that uncomfortable feeling that something's
And then the popcorn burning.
Hello?
Why don't you want to talk to me?
Who is this?
You tell me your name, I'll tell you mine.
Hey, Funkopediacs.
What's that noise?
Popcorn.
You making popcorn?
Uh-huh.
I only eat popcorn at the movies.
Well, I'm getting ready to watch a video.
Really? What?
Oh, just some scary movie.
You like scary movies?
Uh-huh.
What's your favorite scary movie?
I don't know.
You have to have a favorite. What comes to mind?
Halloween. You know, the one with the guy in the white mask who walks around and stalks babysitters?
Yeah.
What's yours?
Guess.
Nightmare on Elm Street.
Is that the one where the guy had knives for fingers?
Yeah, Freddy Krueger.
Freddy, that's right. I like that movie. It was scary.
Well, the first one was, but the rest sucked.
Okay, so hopefully, when we look at, when we talk at Scream and you look at the franchise, how many movies there were. A lot of times you say, okay, the first one was good, but the rest sucked. Now, in this series, do you feel that the movies played out really well? Was there a favorite for you? Like the first one, the fourth one, I didn't really care as much for the third one, but I thought that some of them each had their own take on the franchise that offered out something different.
Yeah, I like the first two. Again, I don't know to sound cliche. The first one obviously is a classic, but the second one, that had a twist for me that I didn't expect, and has less things with me that I'm scared of. Like the Vaskin stall, or even seeing being backstage during a play. I always think of those scenes. That they shot.
You mean, well, I mean, you don't think about like when you're alone out in the middle of nowhere, and
Oh yeah.
so here you are, you're being, it's like that trying to call, but they won't make it to you far enough.
When
But
when I directed plays at the school, there were moments where like backstage, like if let's say late at night, like everyone's gone and I'm just doing like last minute inventory or stuff or making sure the props are in place. I always had that kind of like hair on my back, like the hairs on the back of my neck just standing up because I always thought of that scene because there's very little light back there. So backstage, and I always thought of those scenes, like that psychedelic scene of like where Cindy's like seeing, she thinks she sees Ghostface in the, in the people that she's with, but I always thought like, well, geez, like someone could easily find me back, like kill me back here, nobody would know.
so Divine Pop says Matthew Lillard was great in Scream One, and that's what made it for him. Now Matthew Lillard, he survived.
Yeah, I was saying he's.
So do you look at possibility? You obviously have the three coming back. Now, Matthew Lillard, if they said, okay, Matthew Lillard's going to be in it, it would kind of give something away in regards, right? So if they kind of kept a lid on that as a possibility, but could you see Matthew Lillard in that revenge role with Sydney? Like, okay, I could see like something coming out where maybe Matthew Lillard takes out the three old ones, the OGs, and then somebody takes out Matthew Lillard and then takes on the mantle of his to move into the new series as like. I mean, there's a lot of things I'm interested to see what happens with this franchise. I mean, I enjoy the franchise a great deal, but I'm wondering if either Matthew Lillard was just too much money for them to get him to come back, or if it's a hush hush and possibly he could be a surprise role for this because he was surviving. And obviously, if they're coming back to that town, was he or is he just in jail? I mean, is it all this time? I mean, are they going to touch on that? So it's going to be interesting to see if they mention that or if they should do any flashbacks. I know they're talking about possibly going to that house again. So, I mean, there's a lot of different things that I'm really excited for. And I'm glad this movie is starting in January. 100%. So, Mr. Crispers, in all honesty, Jamie Kennedy's character made the movies bearable when he introduced the stereotypical horror movie rules. Watching them be broken by the scene was great. And it was great to put in the rules because we've talked about rules now. And how many times when you're in a movie or you're at a house or somebody says, I'll be right back. And you're like, don't you know you're not supposed to say I'll be right back? So that has always stuck with me, those iconic lines from Scream. Because like I said, Scream is a great movie. I'm looking forward to it. I'm kind of curious people's take because it's not Scream 5. It's just going back to the title of Scream.
Like with Halloween. So I imagine that's why they're not going to erase 2, 3, and 4, correct?
No, and that's what I'm saying. It's kind of like it is it's not a reimagining. It is like a continuation of the series, but there is going to be different characters. So I mean, there's a lot to partake in this movie. So as we get closer in January, definitely, looking or at the end of the year, we'll to kind of dive. There'll probably be some more bits and pieces. I'm sure when Halloween comes out, there'll be a really good trailer for this movie. If not sooner. But definitely, I know that they're trying to keep as much possible on wraps, 100%. And that's just kind of how it is. But when you look at Scream, like I said, we have him in the background. I'm excited. I'm excited for this. I'm excited for Halloween, absolutely, and Chucky the sci-fi. It just gets the juices flowing again. As a horror lover, somebody that does enjoy horror movies, that grew up around horror movies, the characters are iconic. You couldn't ask for a better situation than that right now. But, guys, we also have more to talk about because we've also wanted to dive into something that's already been out in the theaters and a little bit about this series. And let me go ahead and pull this up and find it. But Robert, I wanted to have you touch on it a little bit because I know that it is some of your lore. But we have, it's not a haunting, it's not a possession, it is The Conjuring. So The Conjuring, they have the newest one, The Devil Made Me Do It. Of course, my cat wants to sit there and play Mr. Affection. He wants to rub his head against the webcam, so bear with me. But kitty, they always seem to want to they know when you're doing something. Yep, see, there he goes. Now, cat, I'm telling you right now, I'm gonna have to. Oh, my big Simba. My big Simba.
I got this one also that always likes to be in the way. Hey, Dusty Momo, would you get out of the way? I just want to say hi to everyone on the stream. Hi. Hello. Leave. Nobody likes you.
But you know, when you look at the franchise, you know, definitely The Conjuring has been a great franchise in some ways. It's introduced some characters, some moments, you know, so definitely some scary moments. What would you say? You know, take it away a little bit. Give me a little rundown on your thoughts on The Conjuring.
Well, one of the things that's always fascinated me is obviously paranormal. Everyone knows that from my first time that I joined the Scream that I talked about how I used to around 2007 belong to a paranormal investigation group. And it, you know, I was a skeptic at first, but I always remembered my grandfather telling me that, you know, because we were always into this stuff, you know, before he passed away. But I always thought that if there was ever a time that I'd have some sort of connection with like in the afterlife, it would be after he passed away, trying to get, because he knew we were so into it. I was like, he would probably try to reach out to me. So I joined the paranormal investigation group, and I've always been fascinated with it. So that's what really brought me into the, you know, that specific part of, you know, lore or, you know, legends or real life true events and stuff. So when The Conjuring came out in 2013, I became fascinated with the story that they were doing. Obviously, these movies take real life events and obviously embellish them, or you know, Hollywood puts their touch on them. But I was always fascinated with Ed and Lorraine Warren, and their occult their museum, and the artifacts in that museum and the story behind them.
Now they said they still have Annabelle, right? They still have Annabelle in the museum.
Yes, Annabelle is still in the museum, and it's the guy's name's escaping me too because I watch him, but um, it's some sort of relative or some sort of
Was
confidant that they had
was Robert? Was
with
it Robert or?
no, Robert is Robert's down. So here's the thing. Annabelle's in Connecticut. Robert is in Key West in Florida. So they're literally like completely opposite. Like, you know, one's at the top in the Northeast, the other one's at the bottom, at the tip of the bottom continental part of the U.S. But essentially, the story of the Perrin family. You know, this takes place. You know, the original, the first Conjuring film, which was I believe set in 71, but it focused on the Perrin family and the house that they moved into being possessed and them feeling like it was haunted, and they wanted to get something, you know, someone to try to either cleanse the house or to find something of what was wrong with it. And that's when they get, you know, they cross paths with Ed and Lorraine Warren, and who comes in and tries to help them um, with with the strange events happening in the inside that place. The second film, I know they went abroad, and it focuses more on Valak, the nun character, and stories from there. And then the third one, there she is, focused on the first. I believe it was the first time where someone who committed a murder used the defense that he was possessed at the time. So The Conjuring 3, which just came out recently, really focuses on that. I don't know if you want to play this, so we'll take it, you know, like you did
All
with
right,
the Halloween.
here we go.
Mhm.
The court accepts the existence of God every time a witness swears to tell the truth. I think it's about time they accept the existence of the devil.
You okay there?
Jesus. I think I hurt someone.
In 1981, Arnie Johnson pled not guilty.
We think this family was cursed.
By reason of demonic possession.
I am not going before a grand jury and saying he was possessed by demons.
Whatever happened that day, that was not Arnie.
So obviously, this is one of the first historic cases where they wanted to try to plead, that there was a possession, that there was something that caused him to do this other than his own personal acts, from that. And, you know, what are your thoughts? I mean, like when you look at this franchise and you look at, how they take some of these stories and some of the things that they've gone through and experienced. And I know that, the witch that they talked about or in the early days, like the fields, the plantations, and how it kind of started. I think it was Bababata or something. Bababata started the conjuring process. When you look at what are the investigators again? What are their names?
Ed and Lorraine Warren.
Ed and Lorraine. That's right. And
now,
I know there's a family that a lot of this is based on.
Yeah, the parent family was in the first one. This one focuses on an Artie. What's his name? Arnie. What's his last name? Hold on, I have my notes here. Artie. What was his last name? He said it earlier. What's his name?
So it's right here. I do.
By reason of demonic possession.
I am not cursed.
By reason of demonic possession.
I am not going before a grand jury and saying he was possessed by demons.
So what when you look at that, and obviously they ended up shifting in a different direction down the road, and he did end up going to prison. But when you look at that, we do say, like acts of God, this and that, but it seems like people don't want to take on that paranormal. People don't want to take on the, to say, yes, it exists and how people can possessions, even though there's been documentations or, such proof of certain things. It's like the UFOs, it's like, people that see it, they want to believe in it, or they have that somewhat belief, the proof of certain things. But it's not overwhelming. And that's the problem that we have is when something's not overwhelming or we fear it, it's something we don't want to believe in.
Mm-hmm.
So when you look at, the devil made me do it.
In this one, in the third one, I think it was the Glatzel family, and it's a boy that's possessed, and then Artie tries to say no, take me, not him, and it ends up passing along, which ends up, yes, the demon leaves the child, goes into Arnie Johnson, and then he commits a murder by killing his landlord at the time. That's what ended up happening in real life.
Yeah, he was accused of murder. I claimed demonic possession in his defense, forcing the supernatural inquiry, so the paranormal investigators. Obviously, there's a lot that goes into these type of movies. They've been very successful.
Whatever happened that day, that was not Arnie.
Color me your color, darling. Come off your color chart.
Now, it kind of reminds me when you look at that shot right there.
It was done intentionally from The Exorcist. Open the cover.
Yeah.
They did a lot of callbacks. They did it on purpose. What's interesting is that what I love about the woman, the attorney who said, I will not go in front of a grand jury or something like that and say that he was possessed by a devil. Spoiler alert. I don't know if anyone watches that movie. That's a funny because in the movie, the next scene is like, we'll show her Annabelle and we'll invite you to the, like she says that and they're like, well, come over to our museum. We'll show you Annabelle. We'll show you a couple of the other items in our museum. And you would think they would cut to it. No, the next scene is her sitting there completely going against what she had said. Like she was, I guess, so shaken up by being introduced to Annabelle that we don't see it, but the next scene is her basically saying he was possessed. Like, you know,
I know where you're coming from. Coming from. Coming from. Coming from. I know who you are.
Lorraine! Lorraine! You all right?
That was a good little scene right there too. Now, see, when you look at something like The Conjuring, in the trailer, and this was one of the final trailers that they had, they're not letting on as much in the movie, as you do the Halloween trailer. So, you definitely, have that. But we have The Conjuring. So Charlie, I think we have a segment called Charlie's Scare Quiz, right? We're doing something where Charlie's going to put together a quiz based on what he selected, and Charlie has selected The Conjuring. So we're doing a quiz on that, and how we're going to do it is, we're going to be doing Scream Stream, and the top three on each quiz, we're going to put you on a list, and at the end of the month, we're going to have a wheel, and we're going to spin the wheel, and then whoever wins, they'll have a prize pack from at 1 point from Robert, 1 point from me. We'll go back and forth. If we have guests that come on the show, there might be something like that as well. That's one of the things we're looking to do, right, Robert? We want to be able to touch on things in horror, whether it's Halloween related, whether it's like up and coming scare houses, just things in general. Go ahead.
I do want to say though that I have to publicly apologize to Nancy, who I still owe something to, because the initial thing that I was sending was on back order and they canceled my order, and then I got held up with issues at work, and it's been crazy. So before I send anything to anybody, I owe Nancy, and Nancy, I publicly apologize.
Well, and the thing is I have a couple of things I know that I wanted to get out too. Sometimes it's tough because we do go, like, what I want to try to work on more is like maybe like gift cards, things that's a little bit easier to mail out, or something along those lines. Like when you're shipping something out, like it's it could be crazy, especially if you're going across country. But if we kind of keep it simple but fun for the winners, and like a gift card, you can give it to them, the stuff right there you can email it to them, and things like that. So I think that's one of the things to look forward to.
It was when we did when we did Art the Clown, when when you did the interview with the actor. Oh my God, I'm like forgetting names today.
So the Terrifier, David Thornton.
And it was a really nice shirt, and it was like it was going to take a couple of weeks to get there, and then it ended up canceling. And then we got hit with graduation coming up, a lot going on at work, and I never got a chance to do it. And I'm like, I feel terrible. So
well, Nancy and Cisco are great people, and like I said, I'm sure they'll appreciate getting it when they get it. And it's, I mean, hey, it happens sometimes in our community. We try to do our best. And sometimes people, a little bit longer than others. But I think if in the end, if you, and then you can always send extra. I have things that I make a list, and kind of go from there. So, but do you want to share the quiz?
Yeah, we have the quiz. Hold on, let me just.
And let's see here.
Okay, here we go.
All right.
A quick little quiz, but the Conjuring version.
Yeah, so just go ahead and and share it over.
Okay.
Charlie, can you give me a number? Give me a random number, Charlie.
Let's go 11.
It's probably taken, but we'll see. Gem Pops mystery boxes, they're fire, so it's probably going to be. He said what number? But definitely, we have a quiz. We'll see. So he's going to share it over. So let me go ahead and add this to the stream. So joinmyquiz.com. And like I said, we're going to put the top 3. And just take a guess. If you're not huge on the franchise, just take your guess. You all you can do. It's just kind of go from there.
I haven't been.
Yeah, Geeky Mama Bear said 11 too. Oh, Pop and Dio, of course. Oh, okay. So you took 81 and 69. Let's see what number. What get? Okay, so
Pop that into the chat if you can. For some reason, I'm having trouble here.
So Mr. Christopher's took 69. Let's see here.
11 too. Hi, Mama Bear. You think of like 11.
Okay, so joinmyquiz.com. So guys, definitely this is going to be on The Conjuring. It's good. Just take a guess. Can't go wrong. Top 3, get on there. So
the 10-question quiz. If you paid attention to things we said, and if you watched any of the Conjuring verse films, you should be fine.
And sometimes you can just guess, and things are okay. And that's kind of how you want to do it. We're going to put that in there. And, like I said, it is The Conjuring. It is a great franchise. Wait. What are you doing? What are you doing? Wait, get back. Oh. But it's based on a true story. It's one of the 1,000 cases they investigated. So disturbing, they kept it locked away. It's a true story of the Warrens. So definitely, like I said, the Warrens, Amityville Horror. They do a lot of different things. 100%. So we don't want the lights out, guys. No lights out. It's The Conjuring.
I have before I moved from my old house, we did a huge party, and it was on a Halloween. And one of my neighbors dressed as the nun, and look, let me tell you something. I'm trying to find the picture. I'm trying to look for it here, but spot on. When I tell you spot on, and we had a smoke machine in the house, so you can imagine that when it was a guy dressed up as the nun, but when he walked in, he was so believable. It looked like just coming out of the mist was like horrifying. I'm just trying to find the picture now. I was like, whoa, wasn't expecting that.
Okay, and so Mr. Crispers, if you were in the parking lot, I know if you parked in the far west side, be very careful, Mr. Crispers, because we're having an issue with monkeys. Yes, they are going around stealing the hubcaps, Mr. Crispers. So, like I said, that's one of the Patreon's car. We got to replace that a little bit. I'm trying to get a pest control out here, 100%. But so, Mr. Crispers, hopefully, I would check your hubcaps as you're heading out there. But Robert, if you find it, that's awesome. Like don't get tied up in a knot. Okay, Robert, do not get tied up in a knot. For this 100%. But definitely, if you find it, it'd be awesome. So everybody's coming into the quiz. Right now, you have 5 people. So you're going to take top 3. So your chances are pretty good.
Should we start in another minute, or?
So we'll start at 9 o'clock and just kind of go from there. And like I said, you have an opportunity to go on the wheel at the end of the month. That's kind of what we're going to be doing. There's a Sassy Cajun coming on over from the Bayou. There's never seen it. It's too scary. And that's the thing. Christina Payne she's a big supporter. I know she's not that big on the horror, but she does come to support us. So, what do you think about Christina Payne there, Charlie?
I love Christina Payne. You gotta spread the love. Spread the love. The most positive person I know. Spreading the love. Except
All right.
we're gonna spread the horror.
Well, in some of these horror movies, they do spread the horror around. They do a good job of that, But we'll see. So what we'd like for you guys to do is, give us some suggestions, like message us on IG, what you'd like to see in the stream. Ideally, the stream we're going to try to keep about an hour and a half. Maybe there might be times it could be a little bit less, it could be a little bit more. We'd like to play some games. We'd like to have a little bit of fun. Give some things away. We're hoping to eventually have some guests, maybe even bring on some bigger guests. I just have to work my magic a little bit on the IG and see if we can get some interesting people here. And just kind of go from there. And we're looking into Halloween. We'll touch on costumes. We'll touch on, trick or treat candy. We'll do a lot of things down the road and play some, great stuff in relation to the channel. And once again, Mr. Christopher's just letting you know that when we talk Scream, we are approved by R.L. Jackson 100%.
Hello. Do you like scary streams? Who's your favorite horror team? Now listen to me. Be sure to check out Stream. And maybe for you there'll be a bonus round. But for poor Logan and Jacob, I'm afraid they won't make the team. They've been cut.
Yeah, so Roger L. Jackson, the great voice of Scream, Ghostface there, he said that, yeah, Jacob and Logan, they've been cut. So, but we are approved by Sleeping Collectibles. How are you? Welcome, John. How's it going? Appreciate it. So this quiz right here is based on The Conjuring, just the franchise, your little bit of knowledge. We're taking the top 3 on the quiz at the end of the month. We'll put you on a wheel, and there'll be prizes to be sent out based on that. Most likely we'll probably do like some gift cards, something that'll be easy to give to you guys, a little bit less on the shipping. But since we are doing some trivia, this is just kind of breaking down what Scream Stream, likes to do. So we are going to be on Friday nights. We're going to do some reviews. We're going to do a lot of different things. Oh, Charlie, what do we got going on, Charlie?
Well, I'm just excited to be back, and I'm looking forward to Friday Night Scares because we're going to start changing up we actually have new decorations. We're going to be changing up our little setup here, and they're going to be really ominous. So stay tuned.
Ominous. Oh, we're looking forward to that, Charlie. That's going to be awesome. And once again, guys, that's going to be 10:30 Eastern. And like I said, if you're just hanging out, stop in. Definitely would love for you guys to stop in. Charlie, do you like airplanes?
Well, I would like airplanes, but I'm considered cargo. So
well, so you go by car, so cargo.
Yeah, cargo. So,
well,
I was playing once on Wabosaurus' lap, and got a lot of weird looks. So,
well, one place you will not get a lot of weird looks is, head in on Thursday nights, pop in around the world with myself and Sassy, the co-host. That's pop in around the world. So on Thursday nights. right, so we got that on Thursdays, but right now we got our quiz, and we're going to go ahead. So right now, let these 7 play, and see who comes out on top, and we'll go from there. And why that's going on, we'll just Charlie can talk a little bit more. So go ahead and press play.
Here we go.
Let the quiz begin.
As always, 5, 4, 3, 2, quiz. Good luck, everybody. I waited to see that all year.
So Charlie, tell us a little bit about what you'd like to see for Halloween this year. Like, what's your thoughts on, with last year with the pandemic? What would you like to see the holiday season, Halloween, progress?
I want to see more people decorate their houses. I think we need to get that Halloween spirit back up and running. We've been cooped up in the house too long. I think we need to have more haunted houses. We need to pig out with candy, and we need to go and scare each other. Use up all that toilet paper that we hoarded and TP houses. That's what I want to see. I want to see the good old glory days of Halloween. And enjoy it. Just go around. I think I would like to go down to, we might be going to the Eastern State Penitentiary in Philadelphia. That might be something that we do this year. So we could report live from down there, maybe during one of these Scream streams.
Well, speaking of, when you're talking about do things more, I think that one of the things that people should be able to do is to go to amusements and like Universal Studios and things like that down in Florida, or California, whatever works the best. Charlie, let me show you something here that you may be interested in. Real quick here, Charlie. So let's get this rolling for you.
Some say he's the one behind every scream. Some say he only comes out every few years. And some say he's closer than you think. Mark the event's 30th year. Jack is back at Universal's Halloween Horror Nights. And this year, he's everywhere. In a haunted house, in the dark where you least expect. But the one place he's sure to be is...
in your nightmares.
Jack is back.
So we're getting excited for that. Want a lot more of that. Absolutely 100%. So let's take a look here as this is going through.
We will be at New York Comic Con this year, and we will be there. So that's another thing that we'll be reporting on. As opposed to this year, we wanted to do it this past year, but obviously that didn't happen. But we will be going to Comic Con, both myself and Pagliacci.
Oh, Pagliacci. So you said Comic Con. So let's get in the car, guys. Let's turn out the lights and get in the car and go.
I will never forget the day I first saw that.
All right.
That's my life.
So Sharon, how are you? How's it going? 100%, Sharon. It's okay. Don't let you're here. You're stopping in. We appreciate that. This is just our inaugural Scream stream. We did it last year. We're going right back into it. We want to make sure that we talk some horror. We can talk, like horror figures, collecting pops that come out. There's anything in relation to horror. You got the Funkoween. There's a lot of good things that are coming up, and we just want to kind of dive into that aspect and go from there. Trevor's he's got to ride in this. Well, you can drive it, Trevor. You can. So as we're going through, did this finish through? Or is somebody still playing?
Yeah, we have some people still playing here.
Okay. So like I said, guys, don't get your hair in a knot. Just enjoy it. Have fun with it. Just do the best you can. And like I said, sometimes, it's okay to become knocking late. We don't mind. We don't mind at all. Just you're showing up and supporting 100%.
Is that from the Addams Family?
But just remember, if you do show up a little bit late, you do get the room that's left. You get the bed that. Oh yeah. I don't know. You might not want that room, but that might be the only room that's left. Other than that, and then hey, we always say, Pagliacci, do not go down the hallway at nighttime. If you have to go to the bathroom, you may want to hold it. Do not go down to the bathroom in the hallway. Yeah, definitely don't want to do that. So check the bottom. Somebody may have given up. I don't know if it's still moving, but if not, then you would have to end it. So just double check.
Okay.
I'm
having chaos. One sec.
Which one? Which one freaks you out? The Pagliacci?
Pagliacci, I'm imagining, is the one that freaks people out.
Yeah, everybody likes Charlie for whatever reason, but I'm the cooler looking one.
Right. Well, by your standards, right? By your standards.
Yep.
So, is it still
Eric? Who's that? Eric that just joined.
That could be maybe Eric Fry.
Hold on. It's your call. Do you want me to end it now or not?
Yeah, you can. Hey, if somebody, this will be it. We if you want to get in on this quiz, we're pretty much getting ready to end it. So that's kind of what we did. We're going to take the top 3.
Yeah, I think we got our top already. Let's end it just to be fair.
Well, if Eric got in there, he's playing. So just go ahead and we'll allow this last one and see where it ends up.
Okay.
And then that's it. Like we're done after this one closes out. So, but like I said, guys, I hope everybody has a great 4th of July weekend. There's a lot to get excited about family wise. We just got done on a camping trip. Speaking of horror, you're thinking of Jason Voorhees out there, having a little bit of fun. We couldn't do a campfire. We couldn't do the fire because it's so dry. So we can only do things through propane, butane, to cook and stuff like that. But I was able to teach my son how to cook and let him cook the rest of the way, the whole trip. So that was a lot of fun to watch. And then he set the tent up. So it was really nice to be able to see your oldest start to become a man. You know what I mean? Like to get into things of taking on his getting his hands dirty. So that was definitely awesome.
I'm gonna end this not playing, just
So Mr. Christopher says he's on top of Sassy. So
and the top 3 are it. In 3rd place, Christina. 2nd,
nice.
Bots. And in 1st, Ness for the return.
So you got Ness and Christina. So Christina, who is not that big on horror, she comes in 3rd. And then who was number 2?
That was Divine.
Okay, so let me go ahead. So you got Ness. And who was there anybody close to that 4th slot? I mean, between the 3rd and the 4th slot, was it close?
Hold on, let me just close this real quick. 3rd and 4th, yeah, close. Chris. Okay, now I imagine.
Okay, so we'll put those 4 on first stream of the year. We'll go ahead and do that. Okay.
Toughest question, Curse La Llorona. The movie takes place in Los Angeles. Otherwise, Venezuela, the legend.
All right, and then you can Funko Brothers got 5th place. You get, and that's the thing. So we'll do some quizzes on a lot of different topics. It's basically going to be called Charlie's Choice. Charlie's Choice. He's going to do the quiz. So what he wants to pick on a topic for that week will be Charlie's Choice. And then we'll kind of go from there. So Pagliacci, you're still the rookie. You have to have that, have been here for a while to kind of get your picks in. So soon, Pagliacci.
Hey, Eric, what if I showed up that night and I show you what a rookie could really do?
So here's the thing, Pagliacci. If you look really closely, I'm not really afraid of you, Pagliacci. I can take on the horror, 100%. So, I will scream at you, Pagliacci, but it'll be of joy and glee. So you don't scare me.
He told you.
No, it's our first. I just want to make sure, like I said, it's fine. We got 4 on there. It's our first one that we're doing this, so we do that if things are close. We appreciate it. We appreciate the support. Here they caught the tent on fire. No, he actually did really well. I was really impressed with him doing a lot of things. Now Jacob was a little bit of a different direction, but Logan, like you said, he cooked us breakfast this morning. He cooked dinner 2 out of the 3 nights. He was able to do get the tent. Like I said, they went bike riding. Went swimming in the water. We did a lot of fun activities. It was a good opportunity for father and sons to kind of sit around and hang out. And then when we were in the tent at night, we played some Uno, some Super Mario Brothers Uno, and and then we kind of told some ghost stories, and we just kind of had some fun with that. And so it was really cold in the middle of the night, but I mean it was nice to wake up in the morning, go out and sit in a chair and just listen to like the nature sounds, as you're just kind of peacefully just hanging out. So it was a lot of fun. Okay, so we have ours. Go ahead and go over the questions.
Go over the questions here. So we'll go and review thy questions. Hold on, where is it? They move things around here.
Yeah, it should be somewhere on that upper right corner.
Right. Interesting facts. Longest question. I remember it was just review question. I guess just questions here.
All right. Yeah, just there you
I'll
go.
just do it this way. Okay, where is now? Wow, I didn't realize you don't know how to spell his grammar. Check your grammar here. Where is Annabelle located in real life now? Is we're supposed to put. In the Museum of Pop Culture, East Mortello Museum, the Conjuring House, or the Occult Museum in Connecticut, and that would be the Occult Museum in Connecticut. So it's Adam and Lorraine Warren's house, basically had a museum in the back, and they're still there. Well, not them; they passed on, but the museum is still there. I think it's still closed because of COVID. 2 in the Conjuring 2, what is the main monster? That would be the Nun. We said both of these if you listen to us talk today. Here's one if you paid attention to the movies. What is Annabelle's real name? All right. Don't think too hard. It's not Valak. It's not Lorraine Warren. It's not none of these because it's Annabelle B. Mullins. Annabelle B. Mullins. Okay. Question number 4. Where does La Llorona? This is the hardest question. According to everyone, where does the Curse of La Llorona film take place? That would be Los Angeles. How many Annabelle movies exist? Just about the doll specifically. All right, that would be 3. Annabelle Creation, Annabelle Beginnings, if I'm not mistaken. 6, the Conjuring universe is based on real life events. True or false? That would be true. All right, it's based. Now, I was going to put initially, right? Weren't you going to do something? Weren't you going to do something about like that they're exactly 100% true? Yeah, but
it only has to be 10%.
What is the first movie in the chronological order to come out in theaters of the Conjuring verse? It was The Conjuring. I made you think a lot harder than you really needed to.
See, Robert wants to make the quiz like a final exam. He wants you to have to feel like you have to prep for 3 weeks.
Yep.
Now next, and what we'll do too is when we do updates of our stream, we'll let you know like kind of what we're going to do the quiz on. It gives you a chance to maybe refresh on some of the movies.
Yep. So we'll give you homework essentially. Oh, sorry about that.
Real quick, we're going to say goodnight to Sharon Birdwell. Also, she said that she thought that she was subbed to Culinary Trapper, but she is now. Sometimes, you guys, you have to check your notifications. Sometimes YouTube does mess around with things, and you could be like, I thought I was subbed to this person, but you really have to hit that notification bell and redo it. because YouTube does have a tendency to mess around with that stuff. But the main thing is, Sharon, thank you for being here, hanging out. We appreciate it. You have a wonderful evening, and enjoy your 4th of July weekend. All right, so one more.
Who is the creator of the Conjured universe? That would be James Wan. What is the name of the third Conjuring movie? It's The Devil Made Me Do It. It is not there. And true or false, Annabelle is a Raggedy Ann doll. That is true. She looks nothing like the one in the movie. She's actually just a Raggedy Ann doll.
Raggedy Ann. Okay. All right. Well, that's awesome. So the 4, we'll go ahead and put you in there, 100%. But as we're closing things, and just we want you guys to know whatever you guys want to talk about, whatever kind of ideas that you would like to see us address, and just have a good stream, because the stream is also for you guys. We love talking horror, but we could do that backstage. We like to have people show up, or if you're watching on the rewind. And I know, like I said, when you look at certain nights, there are going to be certain channels that might be on, and it's awesome to support everybody as much as possible. We do love the ones that do come in and support us as well. But let me go ahead, Charlie. I'm going to show you something, and we're gonna let you, Charlie. I want you to give. Here we go, Charlie. Get excited.
Here we go.
New construction walls are up. 2 maze tents have been spotted backstage, and a recent survey may have leaked the return of the Terror Tram. All this and more coming up.
So this is just a Horror Nights Hollywood, just talking about the Terror Tram, just giving you kind of like a little preview. So Charlie, what do you think about that with a Hollywood, like Universal Orlando and Universal California? How important is this to have this year something to offer to the public?
Oh, absolute escapism. We all like to have that Halloween scare and seeing what goes bump in the night, and this is perfect and exactly what we needed. After a year locked up of scaring ourselves in a mirror, it's time to get the real scares. We need to have our horror nights back. We need to have our the Six Flags Fear Fest. Everything we need it all back. We need it all back, and we need to get scared, and we need to go enjoy the nearest haunted house. We need to also have, where everyone needs to have at least that one Halloween jump scare, as they say. So I'm really excited, looking forward to it. It means a lot that we're back, and it's going to mean a lot, especially as we get closer to the Halloween season.
Well, and definitely, I'm in the Halloween season, and when you look at Halloween, how important it is to a lot of people just in general, but I think it's just great for people to get that back, that part of the holiday, to absolutely get it back. Now, when you look at, as we're closing out here, Charlie, I want to ask you, is there any things that you wouldn't want to dabble in? Like, we talked about The Conjuring today. We talked about, Michael Myers. We talked about Ghostface, and we talked about Chucky. Is there stuff that you would be like, what, I absolutely, I'm not going that direction? Like, have you ever heard of the Charlie challenge?
Yes, that's what I was just about to say, is not the Charlie challenge, but one thing I do not like and I don't mess with is when you start calling spirits and make them appear, or any type of seances. That's where I draw the line, buddy. Because once you start opening that door, we're all screwed.
So you're saying it wouldn't be like, oh, the Charlie challenge is the, wait, hold on, I'll take it. I thought that was going to be a trailer.
Charlie challenge, I just show up. I'm like, hi, what's up? Yeah, boy. That's a shout out to my patrons. By the way, I know as just to kind of jump on something you said earlier on, other channels and stuff that maybe at the time. Just remember, they don't have me. I'm unique. I'm unique to this channel and Wabasaurus's channel, both of them.
All right. So we've been having. So here's one of the things, Charlie. Since it's 4th of July, we have like a lot of people here in town, and so it's like overloading like the internet and just things like that. And we have like it's so tough, but it's just crazy. So Charlie, heading out. What is one of your favorite things to do for 4th of July?
It's definitely the barbecue. I love the food. I love the fireworks and the poolside. Not to mention some of the ladies in the bikinis.
Well, you have. What about Charlie? I know what you did last summer, which really wasn't a whole lot, Charlie.
Well, I kind of like to go swimming and avoid being eaten by sharks, especially since they've kind of here in Jersey. There have been reports of great whites being spotted nearby, so that's a thing.
Well,
and you're over there in California too.
Well, they are going to come out with the Meg 2. I know they're thinking about the Meg 2. All right, so, but look at this, Charlie.
Boy and girl are making out, right? When they hear over the radio that this lunatic killer's escaped from an insane asylum.
That's not the way it goes. The boy goes for help, and the girl stays in the car, and she hears this like scratching sound.
No, he's been decapitated. No, he was gutted with a hook.
Oh my God!
You think he's dead?
You can't just leave him here. Oh, tell me, little Miss Prelaw, what's the charge for manslaughter?
We make a pact. Right here and now we take this to our grave.
For the last year, 4 friends have kept a secret.
Are you on drugs? No. Then what is wrong? I've had a rough year.
But not all secrets stay buried.
Somebody sent this to me. Oh my God.
I know what you did last summer. Ooh.
Would be a new beginning.
Toast to us.
Is becoming a dead end.
Somebody tried to kill you last night. We have to go to the police.
If you want to be dead, he could have done it.
And the mistake they made
It was an accident.
There was no accident. It was murder.
What if he's still alive? Hey!
What are you doing here?
is coming back to haunt them.
Oh my gosh.
He's after me too. I got a letter. I got run over. Helen gets her hair chopped off. Julie gets a body in a trunk, and you get a letter? That's balanced.
He's waiting for us to unravel.
The wait is over.
What are you waiting for, huh? What are you waiting for?
I know what you did last summer.
Hey, I do want to say, I think everybody knows what we all did last summer. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. We did
well, and that's what I wanted to segue into. This summer, hopefully there are opportunities to do some things with family. 4th of July, I hope that everybody has a great weekend, great time with family. We appreciate our family here on YouTube spending a little bit of time with us today. Scream Stream, we talk horror. We're going to do some games. We're going to do movie reviews. We're going to do a lot of different things just to kind of say, hey, you know what? Come on over and hang out, spend a little bit of time because, when you talk horror, you talk Pags, you talk Charlie, Robert, and Eric, because we are Scream Stream. And if there's some things you guys want to see, let us know. Anything you want for us to touch on, we definitely would love to be able to do that. We appreciate each and every one of you guys, being here and supporting, because like I said, it is Scream Stream, and there will be times when we will have some intermission, Charlie. Definitely we'll have some intermission and refreshments. But we are definitely looking to just continue the topics, because there's so many cool things out there. Like Mr. Christopher said, back in the 90s, you had a big wave of horror icons coming to the screen, and now you got like Ghostface, and you got, Michael Myers, and then they're talking about, remaking with The Exorcist, and, and you got Candyman, and you got all these things that are coming through. So if you like to be scared, if you like to get that popcorn and go to the movie theaters and really enjoy that, then, you're at the right place, because we want to be able to bring some of those bumps and scares to you guys as well, 100%. But just so everybody knows, we are Scream Stream, and there's things that we can't do, and there's things that we can do. But the things that we can't do without you guys. And so we appreciate each and every one of you guys for supporting us and being here 100%, because we are. And we will be bringing some games. We'll be bringing some cool things your guys' way. So stay tuned every Friday night, 10:30 Eastern. Charlie, Pags, Robert, Eric, and you never know what our guests might be. But we are Scream Stream. And once again, guys, thank you so much. We appreciate it. Have a great weekend. And
4th of July,
we appreciate the support. Definitely, like I said, happy 4th and be safe. The movie theaters, they have enough of my anxiety. But that's what makes it fun about scary movies. So now that Halloween is approaching, scary stuff is coming around, just remember, when you go to the bathroom, you might need to check behind the door. You may need to look underneath the bed. Is that door locked? You never know, because those scary movies are coming back. So you guys have a great one. And if you get a chance, I know like Sassy Cajun on Sunday does a stream where she does some Charlie. She eats crickets. She eats weird things, like she eats cheeseburgers and lots of different things with gem pops and Teresa Newell and stuff like that. So check her out. But like I said, K&L Collectibles, he's got some music streams. Does a lot of cool things with that as well. And Ness is our resident horror guru. So if we get something wrong, Ness lets us know. She'll tell us. She makes sure. And Mr. Christopher's is here, and so he's another one that's on cue with his horror as well. Funko Brothers, they're on the road to 600. So definitely for them, give them some support. And let's see, just going up, Christina Payne, thanks again. Papa Wheelie came in. Hello, Papa Wheelie, appreciate that. And Divine, yeah, it's hard, guys, because sometimes, when you're hanging out with friends and family, you don't want to go. You just, you don't want to go. But what do we say to Miss Kettlewell? You've been a bad. She's coming in there. So, but definitely, like I said, we're always saying goodbye, and 100%. Occasionally, we might say, "What's up? What's up?" But we appreciate you guys. Pagliacci, give me a what's up.
What's up?
Charlie, give me a yeah, boy.
Yeah, boy.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, we appreciate everybody that was here hanging out. Yes, Ness, you're our horror guru. You're our resident. We know that we love horror, but we know you love it just as much. So you're like the queen. So we appreciate it 100%. Lord of the Seven Strings, rocking on out. So, guys, have a good one. Be safe. And just remember, smile, because somebody loves you. And that somebody loves you could be us. All right. Adios, guys. Take care.
See ya.
Bye.